Greetings, fellow seekers of the arcane. Welcome to Jedite's Pagan vlog, where the veil between the worlds is thin and the energies of the universe converge. I'm your host, Reverend Jedite, and today I'd like to illuminate you on the intricacies of casting a ritual circle. So what is a magic circle? A magic circle, also referred to as a ritual circle or the sacred circle, is a fundamental concept in various magical traditions, including Wicca and in ceremonial magic. It is a consecrated space created by practitioners to perform magical workings, to perform rituals and ceremonies. The circle acts as a boundary separating the mundane world from the sacred, providing protection and amplifying the energy raised during rituals. Sorry. Fix my notes here. The circle is typically cast using ritual tools, gestures, or spoken words, depending on your style, while drawing upon the practitioner's intention and their energy. It symbolizes the infinite unity. It symbolizes the infinite unity and the cyclical nature of life. Within the circle, magical practitioners commune with deities, spirits, or natural forces, while harnessing their energies to manifest intentions, perform divination, or celebrate seasonal events. The circle also represents the interconnectedness of all living things, emphasizing harmony and balance. When the magical work is complete, the circle is released, or some people refer to it as closed, often by reversing the casting process. This act allows the energies raised within the circle to be released into the universe to manifest the intended goals. The magic circle serves as a sacred space where the spiritual and mundane worlds merge, enabling practitioners to tap into the unseen forces that govern our universe. So how do you do it? Well, before we cast the circle, we prep our working space. This means that we physically clean anything that's in the way, gather any materials we need for our ritual, and set up the altar. I've already discussed setting up the altar in the altars and self-initiation episode. So when we are ready to begin our ritual, we start by casting the circle. First, you cleanse the space. There are several ways to do this. I use a broom and sweep the negative energies away, usually while chanting the phrase, "I cleanse the space," over and over again. You could also use holy water and sprinkle the edge of the circle, or you could use incense. Once you've done that, you are ready to call the quarters. The quarters, also known as the eights, are called in a clockwise order around the circle, beginning at the east. And when you close the circle, they are dismissed last in an anti-clockwise direction, starting at the north. When you are performing the quarter call, there's usually 5 things that you want to do in it. You wish to address the spirit being invoked by its name, such as the guardian of the element of air, or the watchtower of the east, or the watchtower of the air, or something to that effect. You'll praise the spirit. You will mention its qualities. You will then request its presence. And this is important to be polite. You'll say something like, "I ask you to join this ritual and share your powers." You're not demanding it, you are not ordering it, you are politely inviting it. And then you welcome it to your circle, the traditional ways with the phrase, "Hail" and "Welcome." When it comes to mentioning the qualities and praising the spirit, the best way to know what you're doing would be to look up the correspondences for the for the element, which I do have listed in the appropriate section on my online Book of Shadows at wiccan.pw. So if we were going with our example from earlier, we would invite the guardian of the element of air, which addresses it by name, the spirit of the early dawn and springtime, praising the spirit, the source of inspiration, that is while praising it, that also mentions its qualities. I ask you to join this ritual and share your powers, requesting his presence. Hail and welcome. When you wish to close the quarter at the end of the ritual, it's going to be very much the same thing. You'll address the spirit again by name, usually the same name that you used to welcome it or invoke it at the beginning. So if you called it the guardian of the element of air at the beginning, you should call it the guardian of the element of air at the closing. You'll then thank the element, again back at the closing. We thank you for joining our ritual and sharing your powers. This is a perfectly good way to say it. You will then give a statement reflecting again the qualities of the element, such as mentioning the winds of change bringing healing or something to that effect, depending on, and obviously you'll customize it to whichever element you're addressing. And then, okay, this next part, I will admit there's two different ways to do it. The common way, then as the next step, would be to give it the option to stay or to leave. People who go with this generally will tell you it's rude to just tell the element to go. So some will use a phrase similar to something along the lines of "Go if you wish, stay if you wish," or "Go if you must, stay if you wish," something to that effect. That said, I do know some people, myself included, who would rather politely but firmly ask the element to leave because they wish to control the energies to a greater degree in their sacred space. So they generally don't give the option to stay. The phrase I was taught and that I use at this point would be to ask the element to go in peace and to go in power. Again, not really giving an option for it to stay. And then you'll give a final farewell. We bid you hail and farewell is a very traditional way to say it. Once you call the quarters, you will then call the goddess and the god. At the closing of the circle at the end, you'll dismiss the god and then the goddess before you close the quarters. After invoking the goddess and the god, if you wish to invoke your ancestors or any particular ancestor spirits, maybe not necessarily yours, that's when you would do so. And at that point, you will have a circle successfully opened. So, just to go back over all of it one more time, what you would do is you would clean the space. You would then invoke the elements, starting in the east with air, moving to the south with fire, to the west with water, and to the north with earth. You would, when you're addressing them, each of the elements, you'd address it by name, you would praise the spirits, you'd mention its qualities, you'd request its presence in your circle, and then you would welcome it. You would then invoke the goddess, then the god, and then any ancestors or other spirits you wish to invite. And then you'd perform your ritual, and then at the end, you would effectively reverse the process. You would dismiss your the other spirits and the ancestors. You would dismiss the god, then the goddess. Notice how it's backwards from the beginning. You would then close the quarters in the opposite order. So you would do, you'd close starting in the north with earth, west with water, south with fire, and then ending at the east with air. When you close the quarters, you will address the spirit again by name. You'll thank them for joining your rituals and sharing in your powers and providing theirs. You will again reflect upon their qualities of the element. You will either give them the option to stay or leave, or you will politely ask them to leave until next time. And then you'll bid them a final farewell. Once you have done that, you will then, usually there will be a statement made by whoever's running the ritual at the end, just to indicate that this is the end of the ritual. The one I use, what is the one that I use? Oh, wow, I'm drawing a complete blank all of a sudden. Yeah, you'll just give a brief sentence statement, just indicating this is the end of it. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. That's usually the one people use. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, and then at that point, some will also ring a closing bell or something, again, just to indicate this is the end of the ritual. And then usually there will be another cleansing of the space, just to remove any excess energy that's been built up. Some people also meditate and center and ground to release their own extra energies that they have raised and didn't use during the ritual. But yeah, that is pretty much the basics of how a ritual works, or at least the opening and closing of the circle itself. And if you take that along with what I've covered in episodes 5, 6, 7, 8, 30, and an episode that was titled Altars, Self-Dedication, that's from when I was still doing season numbers, so I think it's labeled Season 2, Episode 5. But at that point, you should actually have a good understanding of how the ritual works as a whole. How you set up your altar, what your tools would be. Now you see how you cast your circle. You'll then perform the ritual, which I can't really give you a one-size-fits-all definition of how the ritual is done because everyone's a bit different. Then you'll close the circle and move on. If you would like to see an idea of how rituals work, go to our website, wiccan.pw. Look under SBOTs and look at the, there are full moon and new moon rituals for most of the months of the year. And I'm always adding to them. And if you look in the section for individual holidays, you'll find a few of the, that's the holidays for the Wheel of the Year. You'll find some rituals there too. And they'll at least give you an idea of the flow of how a whole ritual works. And later on, I will actually go through a whole ritual to show you how it's done. But at least at this point, and it's the intent of this video this video series is to give you at least an idea. These videos are never meant to be 100%. This is a complete class. Like everything in Wicca, this is I'm giving you the concepts, I'm giving you the ideas, and it's your turn now to go out and do the research and figure out what works for you. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for joining us here today at Jedite's Pagan Vlog. I've got some new concepts of how I'm going to do these videos, so there is changes coming to these channels. I'm hoping to make this show a bit better. But we'll see where it's going. I think it's going to be awesome, though. But until next time, I appreciate you joining us, or joining me. I hope you take care. Feel free, if you want to learn more about anything, check out my other videos on YouTube under the channel called The Temple of the Starry Sky, or on my pagan vlog at wiccan.pw. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and may you blessed be.